Have you ever wondered why you keep sabotaging the very thing you claim to want? Why you find yourself stuck in the same patterns, same relationships, same internal storms, no matter how much therapy you've gone through, how many books you've read, how many affirmations you've repeated? What if I told you that your entire conscious effort to change has been missing the point? Because the real problem isn't what you think, it's how you think. Or more accurately, what's doing the thinking when you're not looking. It's your subconscious mind. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Read that again. Let it burn into your mind. Because if your life feels like a series of accidents, confusions, or bad luck, it might be that fate isn't something happening to you. It's something you've rehearsed for decades without knowing. Everything that feels like self-sabotage may actually be subconscious self-preservation, based on coding written into your psyche since you were 5 years old. And unless you reprogram it, you're not living your life. You're reliving your childhood in the body of an adult. This isn't theoretical. This is the terrain of the psyche. In the next few minutes, and over the next 7 days, you're going to be taken on a deep psychological challenge grounded in Jungian theory but made personal. This isn't for people who want surface-level motivation. This is for those who want to change at the molecular level of their soul. Because real change doesn't happen by yelling louder. It happens when you whisper into the dark corners of your being and listen harder. And as Jung, Freud, Adler, Frankl, and others all discovered in their own ways, the subconscious doesn't change from logic. It evolves through emotion, through symbols, through the quiet work of awareness and radical truth-telling. So if you're here to be entertained, click away now. But if you're ready to confront the parts of yourself you've pretended not to notice, the frightened child, the buried anger, the secret craving to be free, then you're in the right place. Because by the end of this 7-day challenge, your life will look the same, but something impossible to name will feel utterly different. Like coming home to a house you didn't realize you'd left. We'll begin, not with action, but with awareness, because the most dangerous programming is the one that calls itself normal. Most of your thoughts didn't originate with you. Let that sink in. The shame you carry when you're not productive. Installed. The belief that you're too much, too emotional, too bold. Installed. The guilt for dreaming bigger than your parents ever could. Installed. And the madness is, you now defend the very beliefs that are suffocating you, because the subconscious doesn't care about truth. It only cares about safety, and safety is whatever feels familiar, even if it's killing you. The moment you realize you've been calling your childhood personality, you're ready to begin the work. On day 1, you stop talking and start watching. No need to change anything yet. Just observe. Every emotional reaction, jealousy, anxiety, defensiveness, rage, is a portal, a signpost pointing somewhere unknown. Instead of repressing or explaining it away, ask yourself, what is this really about? Who does this remind me of? Whose voice is this in my head? If you can't find the answer, good. That means you're getting close. Freud taught us that the subconscious hides truths we weren't allowed to feel. But feelings don't dissipate when ignored. They simply mutate. That's where addictions are born. That's where perfectionism, control, people-pleasing, and paralysis live. In that chaos between who we are and who we were told we must become to be loved. Here's what nobody tells you. Your childhood wasn't just something you lived through. It's something you're still living. In your romantic patterns, in the way you flinch at disappointment, in your fear of being fully seen, or worse, fully noticed and rejected. Carl Jung didn't believe your past simply affected you. He believed it formed the very structure of your reality, especially the parts you've repressed. This is what he called the shadow, the parts of ourselves we disown or exile into darkness. But here's the twist. What you exile doesn't vanish. It governs your life from the basement. Denied anger becomes victimhood. Denied sexuality becomes anxiety. Denied creativity becomes bitterness. So many of us live lives of quiet, unspoken mourning. Not because we lack talent, but because we're running code written by a child trying to survive. And this is where the real challenge begins. Over these 7 days, we're going to disrupt that code, not with violence, but with attention. Gentle, precise attention. Imagine your subconscious as a child hiding under the bed. It doesn't come out because you yell. It comes out because you sit patiently, extend your hand and say, "You're safe now. I'm listening." Have you ever wondered why you repeat the same relationship dynamic again and again with different faces but the same emotional hurt? That is not a coincidence, and it's not fate. It's pattern repetition, driven by a subconscious mind seeking to resolve an old wound with a new outcome. But because the players are different and your programming remains the same, the ending always loops. Why does nobody talk about this? Why are we told to change our habits but not our hidden identities? Why are we told to fix our lives but not feel into our buried grief? We've replaced awareness with avoidance and wonder why our goals all lead us in a circle. The truth is, transformation is never intellectual. It is bodily, cellular, psychological. You don't simply accumulate knowledge. You descend into the forgotten corners of your mind and grieve what was lost there. Viktor Frankl once wrote, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." But what most never grasp is that ourselves is not who we think we are. It's the part of us beneath thought. As the days go on, you'll begin integrating the fractured pieces of you, the achiever who never rests, the rebel who breaks rules just to feel alive, the addict who numbs pain that has nowhere else to go. You'll meet your inner child, not as a metaphor, but as a presence inside of you, scared, mistrusting, longing to be held. You will start speaking with it, not to fix it, but to finally become the parent it didn't have. You'll write to it, ask it what it needed, what it feared, how it saw the world when no one was looking. If you're brave enough, you'll even sit in silence and let that child speak back. And some of you will cry like you haven't in years, because you will be feeling things you've carried for decades but never had permission to face. By day 5, the illusion of control begins to crumble, and in its place comes sovereignty. You'll start seeing your projections, how what you despise in others is often what you deny in yourself. Jung taught us that what we reject outside us is a mirror to what we reject within. You might realize that your hatred of arrogance is your fear of owning your confidence, that your judgment of laziness is your inner exhaustion screaming to be acknowledged. The moment you own what you've disowned, you stop being a victim of others and start reclaiming yourself. Then the deeper alchemy begins. You'll start recognizing the archetypes running your life. Not just traits, but ancient patterns of living embedded in human psyche. The orphan, the hero, the sage, the martyr, the innocent. Who have you been embodying all these years, not out of truth, but out of trauma? Real healing begins not by choosing a single role, but by realizing that you are all of them. That to be whole, you must embrace contradiction. You must become complex. And complex, you already are. Slowly, with each passing day, the subconscious responds. Not because you forced it, but because you saw it. That's all it wanted. Because the subconscious doesn't need to be reprogrammed like a machine. It needs to be loved like a wounded, waiting soul. And here's the paradox. The more you heal inwardly, the more your outer world shifts dramatically, without trying. Relationships fall away or deepen. Work becomes a calling or dissolves altogether. Your goals change because suddenly they aren't about proving your worth but expressing your truth. This isn't magic, it's alignment. The subconscious is always manifesting your world. The question is, do you want it to create from your trauma or your truth? And by day 7, you'll know the answer. A strange calm begins to bloom. Not the calm of numbness, but of deep alignment. You'll find yourself sleeping better, making clearer decisions, and feeling something you only dreamed about for years, inner congruence. Finally, your external self starts matching your internal knowing. You no longer fear silence. You stop chasing people who can't love you. You begin to listen to your body, not as an enemy, but as a sacred ally. And in that space where the ego falls to its knees and the soul stands up, you remember who you were before the world got its hands on you. So, if you feel a tear in your eye, a lump in your throat, or a whisper in your chest right now, it's not accidental. It's the real you stirring, waking up, tapping gently on the glass and asking, "Can I come home now?" The answer is up to you. If you've made it this far, I want to know who truly understood the message. Leave the phrase, "My unconscious is no longer in control," in the comments, and let's see how many of you really grasp what it means to reclaim power through self-awareness. If this video made you question something, if it made you see things from a different angle, like and subscribe, because this is just the beginning. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, you don't become whole by being perfect. You become whole by accepting the parts you once buried.